Welcome to our first parent training seminar. And today we have, mashallah, one of the best speakers in the Bay Area, not only in the Bay Area, in the nation. Hujjat Islam, Sayyid Hadi Yassin. I just want to go over a few points about him, but I will be covering only a fraction what he can do, alhamdulillah. Hujjat al-Islam, Sayyid Hadi Yassin attended Islamic seminary for 12 years. Most of the time people just go 2 or 3, 4, 5 years. 12 years are a lot of time. In Mashhad, Iran. He attained 2 bachelor's degrees, one in Quranic science and traditions, and the other in fundamentals of Islamic jurisprudence. In 2009, he undertook a master's program in psychology with an emphasis in child development. He is founding editor of a psychology student research journal, PSRJ, under the supervision of CSUSP, Department of Psychology. He has spoken in many academic institutions such as California State University, San Bernardino, University of Southern California, Biola University of Lake School of Theology in San Antonio, University of Utah and Berkeley Islamic Center, and many others. You know, there's so many Islamic centers, we cannot really name it here. He is also certified professional coach, CPC, specialized in children, parenting, and relationships. He is the founder of Hadi. Hadi, I'm not talking about his middle name. And Hadi is an organization he founded, and where the H stands for hope, A for achieve, D for develop, and I for inspire. And life coaching, providing services for clients nationwide. His focus has been on working with children and families with special needs. He served as the Associate Clinical Supervisor at California Psychological Care, assisting families with autistic children. As an Islamic scholar, Sayyid Hadi Yassin understands the complexity and the challenges associated with minority groups living in the United States. He has worked as a leader and motivational speaker in many diverse environments across cultural backgrounds in hopes of finding solutions for some of rising issues among such communities. He is currently working on his doctoral degree in clinical psychology. And since Sayyid has joined Islamic Center of Zara, and within 1 year, alhamdulillah, he has started many programs. They were never existed before. And the youth actually is one of the most challenging group every community has as a youth. It's not easy. But alhamdulillah, he has arranged 2 camps. And a separate camp for the girls and a separate camp for the boys. And alhamdulillah, we have one of the best lecture, I believe that, every Thursday, the one he delivers. Yeah. And I will invite you, you should come every Thursday and benefit for those lectures. They are unique. They are not just like a normal lectures. We can really enhance our life if we just listen and implement in our life. And mashallah, recite salawat for his, more than.
Ya Allah,
and with this, I will invite Hujjat Islam.
جزاكم الله خير. جزاكم الله خير. اللهم صل على محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. الصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين. I welcome all of you guys. Thank you so much for attending. Welcome to ICZ. Some new faces, mashallah, and friends, some old friends we see, alhamdulillah, all friends together. Congratulations on this great time and occasions that we have. Tonight will be, inshallah, the eve of Eid al-Qadir, the most important Eid, Eid Allah al-Akbar, inshallah, for all of us. May Allah, inshallah, bless you, your families, inshallah, your children, and the whole community, inshallah. So quickly, let's go to the topic that we have, inshallah, talking about how to become parents of pious children. The most important part of parenting I want you to pay attention is that it's a knowledge that you have to gain and learn. It's not something necessarily will come with experience. Through experience, you're going to have a lot of mistakes that you might learn something, but it might be too late to correct them, right? You can't test your parenting on children by guessing maybe this will be a good parenting strategy and stuff, right? It might be late, it might affect them, it might hurt them psychologically, emotionally, socially, developmentally, so it will be too late, right? So therefore, it's a knowledge. It's a science you have to go and learn, you have to acquire, and then through experience you'll be able to stabilize them and to practice them. But in fact, it is something that you have to pay attention. You all know that parenting is a full-time job. Being a mom, not even working or working for sure, is a full-time job. Being a dad, it is a full-time job to deal with them, right? It's a great, is a great situation, will provide a great situation for you to recognize yourself and your deficiencies even better. Through parenting, sometimes you look at yourself, oh, why my patience is not there? I should be more patient. Why I'm so angry with my children? Why I talk to them this way, right? It will help you to recognize yourself even better. It would have a self-reflection as well over there. So in this inshallah workshop, we're going to have series of workshops inshallah. I can tell you it's for the first time, I think, as I know, in the history of Islamic centers, there are going to be series of professional lectures about inshallah parenting with different angles. So I combine definitely Islamic values and psychological and academic points all together inshallah, and we ask Allah to make it inshallah beneficial inshallah for all of us. So therefore, I purposely decided to have this title, How to Become Parents of Pious Children. Not necessarily educated, not necessarily good, pious children. We're hitting the what? The ultimate goal that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He defined for a human being and all human beings, right? He said, the best of all achievement that you can have is what? Is to be pious, to have taqwa. Through that, you can see that as an umbrella, that everything else that you want is under that umbrella. If you want educated, respectful, if you want successful, any kind of children amazing with all criterion that you can think of, you can find it under what? Taqwa and piety. All right. So that's what inshallah we're going to focus on this. So a few slides about parents that they have their children in Sunday schools that I definitely recommend parents to make sure that they have their children come to Sunday school inshallah. There are some responsibilities for sure for parents. Before I go there, I want to ask you guys, what do you think are some of the responsibilities that as you being parents towards your children that they are right now in the Sunday school or somewhere else they are in the classes? What are your responsibilities? Help me with that. Sunday school is doing it here, so you're saying teaching them about school Islam. What do you mean?
First thing is I think recognize the value of Sunday school. This is the first thing.
So what's going to help you? What's going to help you to recognize the value of Sunday school? Give me practical solutions. Step by step. What are you supposed to do when your children come to Sunday school? What are your responsibilities?
Bring them on time.
Good, bring them on time. Very good, mashallah. It's actually very important. What else? Because you teach them discipline through that. What else?
Homework should be done.
Homework be done. Okay, good. To follow up with them. What else?
Team up with the staff.
Team up with the staff. Very good.
Well, I think it's important to elect a good program because that has a significant impact on what they learn, how they learn it, how much interest they have.
Very good. Ahsan. What else?
My son says it's very boring going in the school because he's not getting enough all this knowledge, and they are keep repeating over things which are not applicable.
Okay.
And syllabus or structure needs to be changed.
So what do you have to do?
So we just convey the message to maybe learn myself.
Okay. What else?
Apply the principles in our life and be a role model.
Ahsan. Apply the principles in our life, be a role model. What else, sisters? What should we do? What are your responsibilities now your children are here? Let me ask you one question. What are your goals for having your children at Sunday school?
You already mentioned the goal. Become a
What is
children.
Become pious. Very good. What else? What do you want to gain? I'm purposely asking you because I want you to start thinking about these questions. I want you to ask these questions from yourself. How many of you guys you asked this question from yourself, actually, so far?
So one of the more important things is to break down Islam from being a habit to understanding why we do something.
Okay.
Sometimes in the heat of the moment or because of time, I may not be able to explain to the kids why they need to pray. Why is it why is the sajda
The reason, yeah.
why is the qunut important?
Yeah.
Having a secondary
Yeah.
place where they can learn all of that,
Okay.
that's important.
Okay. So let me go back to my question. How many of you guys you have asked this question from yourself? What are my goals for having my children in Sunday school? What am I going to achieve through that? Raise your hand, please. Okay, good. Can you share one of the goals that you had, those who raised their hands?
I want to say moral and akhlaq, and I wasn't able to find a good solution.
Ahsan. To teach them good akhlaq. Very good. So, these questions,
I was going to say, one of my goals is to teach them to appreciate the beauty of the religion and
Ahsan.
the outside world. They see this as kind of strange.
Right.
Here we know that.
Correct. Very good.
تستطيع العقيدة of Islam and Ahlul Bayt, because we are living in a foreign country and we are not the only one. We can do it at home, some people don't do it,
Very good.
able to do it.
Yeah.
But we want to let them know, since they are in a public schools and there's a diverse from the religions,
Yeah.
have a bunch of people do the same.
Sure.
When you do things, it's not like a group of people do
Yeah.
the same with the Ahlul Bayt.
Yeah.
We want Ahlul Bayt to be with them everywhere.
Very good. Well, these questions, the first thing I want you to think about is that you have to start thinking about yourself before anything else. You have to start thinking and questioning yourself, and that should be going on and on throughout your whole life, every day. So I want my children to go there, to that house, to that party. Is it going to be beneficial? What is my goal for that? I want them to be friends with that. You have to keep asking these questions from yourself. You have to be active parents, not passive. Active parenting, when you work, whatever job that you have, some of your jobs are very sensitive. You need to always be, paying attention and always be alert, right? 1 second, 1 minute of mistake might, cause a huge problem. So for parenting is way more important than sensitive. You have to be always responsible. So some of the responsibilities that we have. Number one, follow up with your children's Islamic education. What they're going to learn here, what they're going to learn on Thursday night or other programs for children, is just they're touching the base with them. You need to follow up. Matter of fact, the most important job is your job. Your children, when they go to school, regular school, academic school, your job is what when they come home? Tell me.
Check their
Homeworks, follow up with them, their math, their geography, whatever else. You have to. The teachers would, send you a note. You need to work on with them, you need to do this and that, right? You need to follow up with them. You need to help them to learn more about these things. So number one is that you have to, we're going to talk about this, what do I mean by this, okay? Observe the quality of Sunday school's teachings. For the first time in the Islamic Center of Zahra, inshallah, we'll talk about this as well. We are creating the Parent School Committee. Parents should observe the quality of a school. You have to come and tell us, here the quality of school is low. Here we have issue. You have to improve on this. You're part of the team. You're not having children here. We're not babysitting here for them, right? Having the precious time here. You need to work with us and any other Sunday school that you go with. You need to observe their quality. You need to tell them, the children are coming here. For us, Wallahi, every single minute of their time matters here. Because some of the children are coming here, this is the only experience that they have, and they will have for the entire of their life. That's so important for us. So communicate with the school regarding your expectations. Inshallah, this committee that we're trying to form will help you to be connected and related to school, to communicate, see what are the areas you want them to explore. Be active parents, not passive. We'll talk more about this. Sunday school is just the beginning. Encourage children to come to Sunday school. It's your responsibility. I have a lot of clients come to me and parents that they say, my children don't want to come to Sunday school. Okay, what should we do? We should let them not to go to Sunday school? No. You have to find the best way. You can come talk to me or others. What are the ways you can encourage them? Imagine if your child doesn't want to go to actual school, regular school. What do? All right, sweetheart, don't worry about this. You don't have to go. So your child doesn't want to go to the hospital to, God forbid, to take the shot. What do you say? All right, don't worry, sweetheart, you don't have to go. You find the best way. You don't give up. To what? To encourage them to. Different ways you have to encourage them. You have to be active with them. You have to talk to them. You have to give them gifts. Many other things. Provide suitable environment at home to practice what they learn here. If you don't provide the situation in the house and you expect them to be good people, you said manners and akhlaq, right? If in the house the situation is not ready for them to practice. For example, parents are angry, parents they have anger management issue, parents they are not patient enough, they provide the situation for them to fight with parents, to disrespect parents. Hadith from Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says you need to help your children to follow Islam. The other hadith, if I remember correctly, says Allah would not forgive those parents that would, provide the situation for children to commit sins, to disrespect them. The majority of parents, when they have issues, is that they do something to intrigue their children to disrespect them. If you didn't yell at him, he wouldn't yell at you back right now, right? You started it, and that happens. You were, stubborn. That's why he learned to be stubborn, right? That's how important he is. Be on time. Who said be on time? Yeah. And become a volunteer at school. That's our important, inshallah, to pay attention. Any questions? That was just a list of responsibilities. Any question about this? Very good. All right. In Sunday school, what are we learning? I'm going to do, inshallah, topic more. Learning about general knowledge, Islamic knowledge. What did I say? General. You need to go to details. You need to know what they learned so far, what they have to do. You need to know, okay, you have to know, inshallah, that what they learned today and how to follow up with them to go to the details. They learn more from you to go to the details of the knowledge I learned in Sunday school. Critical thinking in Islamic concepts. I'm going to talk more in details about this. So these are the headlines, some of them. So they have to learn to think in Islam. They have to learn to criticize. How many of you guys have seen in construction when they want to have concrete? Have you observed them when they put concrete? You know what do they do? When they put the concrete, they have a vibrator, They put the vibrators, it's a big thing, in the concrete actually, so it vibrates. I asked them why you're doing it. It says because we're going to make sure it would resonate, down, it will go down all the way, there's no bubbles or anything in the between the, the rocks in the concrete. So you need to have them. These questions, these turbulences, this criticism that we'll have in Islam will help them to have a strong foundation here, right? So we're going to talk about this. Better healthy social interactions. You need your children to be what? To be active, to be socializing with others. What is the best healthy environment? I know many of you guys, you have the concern when children go outside. Brother Abbas, you just said that, right? When they go to even academic school, God knows, and we know as well sometimes, what they're teaching them. You have no idea. I don't want to talk bad about something outside, but you have no idea what they're teaching them outside. You have no idea, and you will never have an idea unless you be educated in these majors that I am at, that what are the agendas that today that they're supposed to teach them, alongside with media. Strong. What they're teaching at the school, the headlines, it's alongside with the chapter of the cartoon and animation that they're watching today. But many things that I don't want to go to the details. So we have to be active parents, not passive, right? So provide a healthy environment. It will help children become proud of Muslim community. When your child comes to Sunday school, it's said 80, 90, 100, 200 children, Muslim, with Muslim parents are around them. They feel I'm not alone. when they go to school, maximum 2, 3, 4, 5, right? If you can 5, you know. Some of them you don't even recognize them. So they feel they are in minority. They feel humiliated just being minority. They want to hide it. When they go to these environments, they feel that I'm not alone. Psychologically, you give them what? Self-esteem, confidence. I am part of a bigger society. I'm part of a bigger community, right? Being in an Islamic environment, so you know that just breathing in somewhere spiritual. Why do you spend money and time to go to ziyarah? Why do you go to Hajj? Why do you go? Because you want to be in environment, right? This will provide the environment when they come. The salah, the dua, the things that psychologically, you just do more research about this. When you hear things, it would affect you. You just be somewhere, don't do anything. Just when you hear things. Why do they say, if you're somewhere that they're smoking, secondhand smoker, right? It's worse than actually you smoke yourself, right? I know some of the brothers, they have vitamin D, you know, they use, you know, cigarette to have vitamin D, but what is it? What does it do for you? Even if you're sitting next to him, it will affect you negatively, right? Positively, it will affect you as well. The hadith is saying, make sure you sit down with the scholars who would help you to increase your knowledge, your manners, your habit. Learn about Islamic manners and akhlaq, of course, that it's the main thing we want them to learn as well. Learning about Islamic disciplines. When they come here, on time you have to come at this time. You have to go to school at this time. You have to come out, you have to be ready, you have to be organized, homework be ready, right? They see that Islamic environments are professionals as well. It will give them the sense of pride that, alhamdulillah, we're professional as well. So, all this need to be what? Followed by. You need to follow these things at home. Otherwise, what they learn here will stay with them in Sunday school, and when they go out, they forget about them. Alright? Let's go to the detail, inshallah. Any questions so far? Let me ask you this question. Now you have seen this is the general idea, some of the main points about Sunday schools or Islamic environment. That can be Thursday program, that can be a Ramadan children program, anything else. I'm just giving example of Sunday school because we're in Sunday school right now. So now you help me, how can we follow up with Sunday school to help our children to gain those goals that you have in your mind and to achieve those goals? How can we do it? Start with Islamic movies. Okay. Okay. What else? Lectures. Very good.
What was taught that particular day?
Do what?
After the Sunday school, what was taught that day?
That teaching of the day. Very good. What else? Sisters, go ahead.
I think there's a general practice that we need to have at home and a dialogue about it. So
dialogue about it. Very good. Very good. What else?
You can relate your daily life in Islam.
Do what?
The daily life activities, you can relate them to Islam.
Ahsan. Your daily life, you become the model and example of what they're being, taught at the school. What else? What else? Very good. The reason I'm asking, I want you to start being active parents, not passive. If I give you, you will be passive. All right, I have to do it. But I want you to come up with solutions. What else? Well, I'm assuming you're having your children in Sunday school. You should have thought about these things before, right?
I was looking for some cartoons or something that is interesting for that age.
Movies, cartoon. Okay. Very good. We'll talk about this. What else? As parents who have their children, what should we do?
Make it Islamic, house, everything at home.
Environment. Ahsan. The environment be Islamic environment. What else?
Make them to recite Quran every day at home.
Make them sit down and recite?
Encouraging.
How do you want to encourage them to do?
Recite yourself.
Recite yourself. Very good. Very good. Right? When do you have to start reciting Quran? What age for children? So they will be,
When the womb on.
Exactly. That's what I wanted. Before the birth, let alone through the birth.
Give them some kind of prize.
Prize, very good. You know, reinforcement, positive reinforcement. Perfect, perfect. Positive reinforcement. What else?
Muslim, model for them.
Model for them. Very good. All right. You should have weekly official Sunday school follow-up meetings with them. How many of you guys you have? Look around. You're telling me we have to sit down and telling them what did you do it? Are you doing it regularly? Very good. You should have an official, for example, I said Monday. It can be any day. Monday because it's a day after Sunday school. That's where it's a good day because they still remember what they learned, right? An official time. You have to sit down with them, and they have to know it's a follow-up session. They have to, respond to you and help. For example, how was Sunday school this week? How did you feel about the first day at Sunday school? Right? First, we start with their feelings. All right? Let them express. Let them talk. Let them communicate with you. Right? I'm going to tell you the benefits of this as well. Okay, sweetheart, what did you learn about Islam this weekend? I'm so excited to hear about what you just have learned, or what you just learned. Right? It's gonna, help me as well. Wow, that's great that you learned that. That's amazing. Excitement, encouragement. That's great that you learned that. Oh my God, I wish I could learn this when I was at your age. That's great. Let them feel they're doing something important. I'm doing something good. So my dad, my mom, they are praising me for something that I thought is just a regular, random things I go to school, right? Praise them more, encourage them more when it comes to Islamic school rather than actual school. Because there is a goal behind this. We're going to attach them to what? Islam. We're going to attach them to what? Islamic teachings, Allah, manners, right? So you need to build rapport between them and Islam first. Before you go to regulations, before you go to salat and ahkam or anything, they need to love Allah before anything else. When you want to come to my lectures, you need to love me or my lectures to come. Otherwise, you won't come. Right? There should be a rapport. You say, mashallah, that's great. The workshop was great. Let's go again. Because you build a rapport, right? They should feel the benefit. Oh, Allah is so... And it started when? Since the beginning of their day in this world. And their birth. The first day in this dunya, we have to start doing this. I'm going to give you some examples. My daughter, she's 4 years old. So, since 2 years ago, whenever I was buying something for her, and I was asking him, do you know where it's coming from? Who bought it for you? I was like, God, Allah bought it for you. I was like, sometimes but you got it, Dad. I was like, yeah, God gave me the money so I can buy these things for you, right? So now when I talk to her, if she's around, it says, who bought this for you? It says, Allah bought this for me, right? We went to Umrah a few months ago, and she was walking the stores, and she saw a doll was moving and dancing. It's like, I want it. I'm like, okay, you have to go to Kaaba and ask Allah, so we'll give it to you. So I built it up for 3-4 days. She keeps passing by, and she was looking at that, right? And she was going, and I was reminding her, you have to go to to Haram of Allah and ask Allah. And she was doing it, and I was reminding her. One time she was asleep, and I bought it for her, and I put it next to her, over there, in the hotel. And then she woke up. She's like, Dad, Kaaba Juni gave it to me. Kaaba Juni gave it. Juni means dear. Kaaba Juni gave it to me. Up until the day when I asked her, who bought it for you? Allah, Kaaba. This report is there, right? I could give her a lecture, but it wouldn't be as efficient as what? One simple example. You know what I mean? They have to learn where it's coming from. This report, Allah is benefiting me. Allah is helping me. You have to build 7 years. 7 years upon this. Allah is helping. Allah is merciful. Is a source of help, kindness. They're not 7 years old, 8 years old when you tell them to pray. You don't have to ask them. They already love that God, and they want to stand in front of Him and pray. That's why we have 7 years, the first 7 years in Islamic teachings, right? So, I'm so excited to see what you learn, you're following up, right? Tell me some of the benefit of this when you do this.
Reinforcement.
Reinforcement for what?
Knowledge.
What else? Quickly, let's go quicker.
Then it will encourage them to learn more.
Ahsan, encourage them more. What else? Sisters are falling behind, you know, you have to be.
They recall whatever they learn.
Ahsan, they will recall, they practice it, mashallah.
Stays in their mind.
Ahsan, very good, very good. What else? In Hawza, one of the reasons the scholars, mashallah, are very good in terms of learning things is this. When we learn something, you know, today or yesterday we learned something in the, you know, in Hawza, the das that we learned. Tomorrow we have mubahatha. Mubahatha is that we sit down with 1 or 2 or 3 more tullab next to each other. One of us, with, you know, randomly, one of us would start being the teacher of what we learned at the school, you know, at the dars, and then we teach others. And others will start criticizing us. Immediately we start teaching it, right? So it would resonate, we'll keep remembering what we learned. So we need this type of thing. Number 1, your child takes to school more seriously. So you know, it's something important. My mom, my dad, or both of them are spending time to what? To follow up. So it's something important. Rather than he comes here, she comes here, Khuda Hafiz inshallah until next week. Not even next week, maybe midterm. And then maybe I have to review in the midterm that dad doesn't even care what I learned. Mom even doesn't care what I've learned. They don't even care to ask me what happened, right? Second, they pay more attention to learn at the school. I'm sitting here, I know tomorrow my dad is going to ask me what you learned, right? My mom is going to ask me what you learned. It's not going to be with fear, what we ask them, or with punishment. It's with what? It's with discipline and encouragement and reinforcement. Remember what I said? Wow, that's amazing what you have learned. I love that. You know, you do this to him, it's like, oh my God, what happened? You know. So you're going to encourage them. So they want to pay more attention when they're here, because tomorrow they have to be the teacher and answer. Learn more. They will learn more from you and your knowledge. You have more to add into this, right? By the way, that's great. You learn about the aqaid, about the akhlaq. Well, they told you have to respect your parents. They told you have to be nice to others. Oh, by the way, I remembered an example when I was a child, so and so, blah, 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 right? You're giving them more knowledge into this. It will consolidate what they learn at the school, of course, because it would, you know, be repeated and it will help them. Provides family quality time and bonding. Psychologically, you're spending time with your children. How many times a week you literally sit down with your children? Raise your hand. How many times a week officially you sit down with your children to have quality time? Tell me. Once? 1 hour? Okay, what else? 0, mashallah, very good. Congratulations. Thank you so much for being honest. That's great. Weekly? Do you do it daily?
Yeah,
tell me, daily, tell me. Very good. What else? The majority of you guys, you know your heads are down. I know when I ask this question.
No, I'm just adding 10 minutes every day.
Let's say 10, let's say half an hour a day. How many hours a day they're spending at the school? Averagely? 8? 7, 8 hours? And you're telling me half an hour? You're telling me even 1 hour? Bismillah. And then when 19, 20 years old, my office. Said Hadi Hassan, inshallah, Maulana is going to help us with my children, right? Right. Have to be active parenting. It is a spiritual group practice. You have a dialogue, Islamic dialogue. When you go to Thursday night to program, to lectures, make sure right away you ask them, what did we learn? Review together. Imam Ali ﷺ at home. He had Imam Hassan stand up and give lectures in the house. Give a lecture. One day he was so shy he wouldn't give a lecture talking about Islamic concept. And Imam Ali said, okay, I'm going to go behind the curtain, so I'm going to hide, so you start the lecture. Look at the parenting. He didn't say, Bismillah, you're going to be the Imam. Start it. No. He gave him the opportunity to practice. Amazing parenting, right? All right. And then you will be aware of the quality of Sunday school teaching. If you don't know, if you don't supervise the school by knowing what your children are learning, what's going to happen? They're not going to learn as much as they're supposed to, and you're not aware of that, right? All right. We talk about critical thinking. One of the most important things that unfortunately, even adults, they're passive in the path of Islamic knowledge and practicing. The majority of us, we have been told that salat, we have been told fasting is good, we have been told that we have to do this and that, right? And as soon as we wanted to ask question, why? Astaghfirullah Rabbi wa atubu ilayh. What are you asking, you know? And some cultures, I know that you shouldn't even ask Maulana about any question because that's disrespectful to him. I think the reason behind it is that because he might not know, that's why he put this rule, you know? You have to ask. You need to criticize. You need to have critical thinking in order to learn. Then why it's not? Maybe at our time, it was working. 2019, 21st century, it's not going to work anymore. That's why Imam Ali says, raise them with the condition of their time, not that time. They need to be, all these, they're bombarded with this old questions and shubahat and doubts. Why this, why that? Then imagine just, let's go to Salat Jama'ah. We have to go. Well, when I have camps with them, you might hear this from me. When I tell them, why you pray, they start telling me, oh, it's going to help us to get closer to Allah. I'm like, okay, forget about all these things. Tell me, dunyavi benefit of that. What do you mean, say it? I'm like, you know that when you pray, you have to focus in your salat. You need to have control over your mind. Your mind is going to be distracted. You have to control it. You know what does it do? It helps you to have control over your mind so you won't get depressed. You won't have anxiety because all these have negative thoughts, automatic negative thoughts come to your mind. But the salat would help you to have control over your mind. So tomorrow your mind is going to be negative. You already had control over your mind. Oh, this is the... Talk to them about some of these benefits, right? Critical thinking. Let your child be active in understanding Islamic concept, not passive. Passive mean what? That's it. That's it, and that's it. Khuda Hafiz. Because my dad told me, so I'm telling you the same. I'm not communicating. Why? Because the reason. I'm not communicating with them, right? Let your child criticize religious concept to learn. Of course, you have to know the answers. Alright? I'm not saying to encourage them to criticize. I'm saying if they have questions, you have to let them ask their questions, right? You have to let them be active in this path. Why should we do that? Mom, why should we believe there's one God? I know mothers, they have a lot of these questions, right? Why God is there? Why God is not here? Why I cannot see God? Well, you have to increase your knowledge first to be able to answer, right? Communication and questions help them to be active in the path of learning. Some of your children, they go to the classes, they're always, quiet. Some others, they're very active. Can I say it? Why is it this way? In assembly that I have every day, 10:30, you can see. When I ask a question, some of the students were like, can I say it? Can I say it? Because they are used to what? Thinking critically. And look for the answers. They have the confidence. Ask them questions to instigate this curiosity in religion. The more you ask questions, the more they will think about it, right? Do you remember I started my workshop with what? Questions. I could have started going Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, but the questions will stay with you. You start thinking about this, right? Do you know why we should be generous and help others? Islamic manners, right? Why should we do that? Why should we be generous versus you have to share your toys with your friends? That's Islamic. You have to do this. How many of us would say that, right? Allah is going to love you if you do this. Okay, tell me about the benefits. How the love of Allah is going to help me, so I'll be generous. Let them learn. Why? Do not give them answers immediately. Let them think and try to find the answers in Sunday school or somewhere else. Ask a question, don't feed them immediately. It should stay in his mind, in her mind. Go find the answer. You should go find the answer. Next week will come, you tell me why. Or we will discuss together why we have to do this. Tell me, what kind of parenting is this? It's active parenting. It's not passive parenting, right? Hadith from Ma'soom says, be so quick and fast in teaching your children about Islam and our ma'arif and our teachings. Because if you're not that fast, there's some other people outside, I'm putting it this way, the enemies that are so quick to take them away from you. I'm telling you, brothers and sisters, you have no time to be neglectful about your parenting and your children. There are some enemies out there, undercover, khannas whispers, you don't see it, that you cannot even recognize them, and every single day, I'm telling you, in their phones, in TV, all around, at school, all around, they're teaching them something that is a poison to them. You need to be active. You need to be active. And your children are the next generation, are not only your children, are the next generation. You have to pay attention. Critical thinking. You need to have positive child guidance. Okay? This is a psychological term and phrase. Positive child guidance. What does it mean? Provides positive child guidance provides simple explanations and reasons for daily Islamic rituals, beliefs, or daily routines and their limits. Well, you have to have hijab. Well, you cannot stay in that house, or you cannot talk to that things and that. We cannot go there because they have this. We put the limits, right? Imagine if I don't explain. Why can't I be friend with that person? What can we have? There are limits. We need to explain. I'm going to tell you how. Because you're starting explaining. These rules, these limitations, this position, because we will start, thinking builds the brain in many ways, including when you explain to them, will help them to build what? Number one, it improves the child with a rich language environment. You know why speakers that are good speakers? Because we're used to speak. Because we are used to speaking in front of others. Because we have been criticizing ourselves and others criticize. So at that time, there's no fear of that. The language, the confidence, everything is there, right? You need your children. How many of you guys, you want your children to be leaders? Right? Many parents will come to me, what can I do my child become a leader? It's going to help this way. It nurtures the brain into optimal intelligence and stability. You're giving them the opportunity to think, to talk, to process. You know this, the more you use your brain, the more active it will become. The more improved it will be, right? The brain needs to be active. Imagine those that they keep their brain brand new. They never use it. Rather than a scholar, a scientist, I don't know who, active educators that keep thinking, right? The brain has more. I remember in Hawza when I was studying, when I finished the course Mantiq, the logic, I was very young, maybe, I don't know, like 15, 16. I remember when I finished that book, it was this thick book, right? I remember it's all about logics. When I finished it, I could feel my brain capacity is different. At that age, I could understand things differently. Because you have to keep thinking, Math is one of those things. Challenge your mind, you have to think, that's why. It promotes better language skills in child, which facilitate the development of self-regulations. You need that a lot. You need your children to have this self-regulation. It provides parent support for children controlling their own behavior through giving explanations and reasons for rules. Again, go back to self-regulations. Self-regulation is something. When it comes in front of something bad, when it comes in front of, I'm going to yell at my dad because he didn't let me do that, I have self-regulation and control. When I become a teenage, I'm going to go do something haram, the self-regulation comes and help me. Self-regulation in Islam, we can say taqwa. You're inhibiting yourself from falling into something wrong and haram, right? It contributes to critical thinking and problem-solving skills. One of the most important skills that your children should have is what? Problem solving. When you are having issue with your spouse, one of the major technique you need to have at the moment is what? Problem solving skills. The crisis is there, what should I do? Many people at the moment they made a mistake. They yell, they do something wrong, they don't know what this is. A good leader is what? The one who has a good solution for crisis. It values children's feeling and emotion, critical thinking. So you're asking them, I'm important in this path. It's respectful, you're respecting them. it builds self-esteem. You can see, you know, on and on. And it helps them understand how the world works, what's okay, what is not okay, and why. So imagine, after Sunday school, I'm following up with them. They keep, you know, we keep asking them these questions. I just learned some simple things about manners and aqaid and akhlaq, and I didn't know a lot of things behind this, and I'm learning more and more and more because my dad and my mom are, you know, developing and enhancing this concepts for me. All right. The other things you can follow up and you should follow up is Islamic manners. I purposely put this Arabic word or Farsi, this was adab. We need them to be mu'addab, right? We have it in Urdu as well, right? Adab and mu'addab. Adab, disciplines, rules, manners. One of the most important aspects of Islamic teachings are what? The manners. If you want to see who is Muslim, you don't look how many rakat salat they pray. What do you look at them? Their akhlaq, the way that they talk, the way that they behave, the way that they interact with others. About Rasulullah, Quran says what? إِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ. Another hadith, if it was not for the sake of your akhlaq, husn khuluq, lam fadlu minha, they will get away from you. The reason that you could be successful is your akhlaq, your manners. They love that. Right? Adab. And manners that you have to follow with them. So parents should observe Islamic manners themselves first. Let me tell you what. Almost impossible if you're not observing that Islamic manner and akhlaq and you want them to have it. Psychology is saying that the majority of your akhlaq, your habits, your manners, your children would have them as well. If you're a stressed person, you always have a stress and are so stressful, they're going to be stressful as well. If you're angry, they will be angry. If you're patient, they'll be patient. If you read books a lot, they'll read books a lot. If you're a patient person, you're going to be a calm and patient person. You can see around your family, your friends, you know. The rate of divorce. Children from divorced families, most possibly will end up getting divorced themselves. Children of drug addicts, they will become drug addicts themselves. Psychology, just Google it. Why? Because they observe from parents. You yell at home, they will yell back. They do it with you, they do it with others, they do it with their family later on. What else? I had a client, she came to me from the community and says, well, I have issue with my husband, I don't know what's going on. I'm always so stressful about things, and I always fight with him and with my children. I said, okay, let's go back. I helped her, you know, to go back to past and childhood, CBT, cognitive behavior therapy. We talk about this, and then we figure out that her father is the same. She said, if I'm late 5 minutes, it's like the whole world is collapsing. I'm so stressed about this, right? I'm like, how was your father? It's like, he was always yelling at us. It's 5 minutes, we have to go to that masjid, we're late 5 minutes. So now I'm doing the same. Then I told her, well, did you like your father doing this? It's like, no, I hated it when I was a child. I was like, but you're doing it to your children now. She started thinking, oh yeah. I didn't even know that came from my father. But on and on, I can give you examples. She doesn't want to, another client, she doesn't want to get married. I hate men. I just want to get away from them. So and so, blah, blah. When I talk to her, going deeper and deeper into her mind. Why? Because my dad did so and so and so and so. I have issue with my mother-in-law, so and so. Why? Because my mother was having the same situation with her mother-in-law. You need to observe it. We're trying to have this, inshallah, in Sunday school. The teachers, one of the same equal parenting teachers that we have, I'm having, and some professional having teachers training for our teachers for the first time in the history, series of lectures and workshops professionally for our teachers here. We're going to develop and enhance their knowledge about how to teach. We're telling them to do your example, right? But they're here for 2 hours. You're there with them all the time. Home environment should be healthy and encouraging for manners. You can provide unhealthy food and you expect them to be healthy. right? You can't provide unhealthy situation and environment and you want them to be good and pious and mashallah very good children. Praise and encourage children and your child to observe Islamic manners. Again, reinforcement, right? Well, I love yesterday that when you wanted to come to my house, to my room, you knocked on the door. That was great. You see my passion here when I talk to you? I know when I talk, your eyes become like this. I'm like, so simple. But the way that I talk, you see the passion through my speech, right? Well, that was great yesterday, you know. You help your friends. I could see that he needed a glass of water. You gave him. What do you think Islam is? These things, you develop them, right? Well, I love that yesterday. That was great. You know, you stand next to me and you pray. Well, the other day that, you know, you pushed your friend, I was a bit disappointed, you know. Do you like someone to push you? No, I don't like. Well, I think we should keep our hands to ourselves, right? You see, the negative and positive, right? Let them know the best manners comes from Islam. Let them learn that from childhood. Makarim al-akhlaq, the best of the noble traits come from Islam only and only. I'm going to go faster. Follow up and actively supervise their manners. How many of you guys, your children might, you know, stretch their legs in front of you or lay down when you're sitting there? Be careful. Our grandparents, remember how strict they were with some certain things? Today it's like, oh my God, be careful, don't tell them so and so. We need some of those disciplines. You should not raise your leg in front of your, you know, stretch your legs. You should not sit this way. Don't. I remember when, it's amazing. I remember when I was, you know, younger than this, you know. Sometimes I was just laying down and my dad was coming in. My mom was like, sit down, your dad came. It's like, oh my God, who is that? Dad is so important, you know. Then today I respect him more because of what I've been told, that he is a respectful person. It's going to help me to have a good position when it comes to what? To my parenting. It's not through forcing them, or it's through encouraging them, the discipline, right? Eating respectfully, walking respectfully, the clothing, the way that you talk to others politely and respectfully. You know what I mean? All this matters. Don't be harsh. Don't punish them. Don't force them. But you need to encourage them. Reinforce them to have manners. Okay? Well, Dad, you see at home, he's raising his voice at Mom. I know yesterday you had issue with her. It's like, you got it, right? Be careful. If he can raise his voice at Mom, tomorrow he will do it to you. Go back to him. Take him away. You shouldn't talk to your mom this way. You know? What happened? Why are you talking to mom? Well, we don't accept this. Respect your mom. Mom, the same thing, you know? Then you see that they learn about the manners as well. Explain to them how Islamic manners can help them be successful in life. Again, you can have examples, you know, if you be polite, if you have husn khulq and have a good temper, even when you go to business, when you have in a company, you know, they want you more than others. They want you more than when they have someone professional, good experience, and have a better akhlaq and temper, they tend to keep you rather than someone who doesn't know the teamwork. Respect others and, you know, so on. Give examples from Quran, life of Ahlul Bayt, the story of Ahlul Bayt, what happened, the books and everything that we have. Give them good examples from the examples and role models that we have. Let me go, oh, this is the last. So, spirituality in the house. Whatever we said so far, you're going to seal everything with ibadah, with the spirituality. In the house that there's no salat, in the house that there's no ibadah, there's no spirituality, all these things are under the question. It's not going to help that much, right? One of the major things is this one. It's one of the greatest professors in the field of child development. I've learned a lot from her. She was saying that when you want to change your baby's diaper, a baby, 5 days old, said show him and her the diaper. Says this is a new diaper, it's dry, and then show him that what you want to do. I'm going to change it. Look, this is wet. I'm going to change you. He said, Nozad, baby, explain it to your baby and what you're trying to do. Well, I'm going to use this. It's going to help them to think, to the process, the brain development, right? Well, if you want to teach them about these things in the school, well, he's a baby, pray in front of him. He sees that dad is going up and down. He doesn't know what you're doing, but he keeps taking pictures. The frames of what you're doing is in his mind. Mom, she has this. Mom, she's praying, she's reciting Quran. She's taking pictures from your behavior in her mind. There will be a good, because they're attached to you, right? Whatever you do, they love. So this will, oh, my dad is doing, you know when they're growing up a little bit, you know, they keep standing next to you, they want to pray. And they go a little bit, Dad, can you wake me up for a fresh prayer? You know, can I fast with you as well? They want to copy you. They think it's grown up if I do it, right? You build this. So we have to practice spiritually and worship at home. We need to provide the opportunity for our children to worship at home. We should encourage them. When it's the time of azan, I don't know how many of you guys, you have the voice of azan out loud. Allahu Akbar, Allah, in the house. Have your phone or something out loud. Or you say your azan yourself out loud, right? Spiritual environment. Explain the benefit of worship in this world. How it's going to help you. Remember what I said about salat? How psychologically it's going to benefit you and help you, right? Our priority in life is Allah and Islam. First Allah and Islam, then other things. First Allah, then school. First Allah, then job. First Allah, then everything. When you have Allah, you will be successful in everything, right? Look at the spiritual people. Look at divine people. Look at prophets. Look at our Ahlul Bayt. The best in ibadah, the best in the society, the most intelligent, the most successful, the best to help others in the society, right? It all comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Do your best to remove distractions from your environment. If you're providing, God forbidden, something wrong, and on the other side, you expect them in that unhealthy environment to learn something and to be spiritual, no, it's not going to happen. You're providing a lot of distractions for them, and it's not going to help them that much. Don't take them to those houses that are not clean. You know what I mean, Islamically. Don't take them to those parties, to those gatherings, to those situations that are not clean. One time would affect them. You don't know, even one time can affect someone for the entire of their lives. It's negative effect, right? So be careful with this. And bring them more often to Islamic environment and mosques, at least weekly, at least. Even if they have tests tomorrow, come to the masjid, to the center for 10 minutes, go home. You're teaching them that that's important. The Islamic environment, not that when I'm done with everything, then I'll come to masjid. All right, any questions? Go ahead.
This year my kids are going to high school, and
can you ask
maybe there are a lot of discrepancies between something they learn in their real school and something that they learn in Sunday school and in the home. What's the safe procedure for resolving this conflict in their mind?
Well, certain things you can solve, certain things you cannot solve, just because of the environment. Because they spend 8 hours over there and probably maybe some minutes with you, right? Number one, I'm going to give you the ideal situation. Have them in the school that you're not that worried about the distractions and environment. Number one. Think about any other, any ways that you can do it. Second, make sure you supervise them all the time. Make sure you know their friends all the time. Every single little of them. You have to know who they are, what kind of friendship they have, and their families. Okay? The other things, you should keep spending more time with them to encounter those things that they're learning at the school. You have to teach them more about these things. You have to, before they, God forbid, get sick spiritually, you need to give them their antibiotic. So if you see these things outside, it's because of this, this, and that, and this is the solution behind this, right? If you see someone is inviting you to these bad things to do, well, the distractions are always there, make sure, based on their age, So you need to spend more time with them. You need to follow up with them. You need to teach them more and more. And on the best solution, you need to be a good parent. As soon as they see there are some issues with you that they can get connected to you, Khuda Hafiz, I'm going to get connected to someone else. Because they need to be connected to someone. They need to tell someone, I have this issue today. If not mom and dad, you know who? That guy outside, right? So these things, however, and many other things, like I said, friends, what they're watching, cell phones, please. Inshallah, maybe next workshop I'm going to talk about virtual world, cell phones, you know, the huge disease of the century that we're going to have.
Yeah, actually, my question is about exactly the same thing. Because now for homeworks, for example, my daughter, for class homework, she has to use the laptop, the notebook. And then with these apps, it's very challenging, difficult to control and balance.
Yeah. So inshallah, next workshop I'm going to talk about this specifically. I have huge, I have officially addicted teenagers to phone. Officially, like drug addict, I have phone addict. Okay? So we have to talk about this. I'll teach you what to do, what we have to do, some of the issues that we have. With kids? Well, in assembly, sometimes I try to here and there talk to them and let them something about, you know, phones as well. But first, it should come from you guys and then them. I know that sometimes, well, take this, go sit over there, right? In the masjid. Among all you guys as well, I see sometimes you give your phones to your children, go over there, shh, lecture. Because you're poisoning them. You don't even know what they're watching. I see them sometimes. I have some people around, you don't even know. Your children, I have some people go next to them, they watch what they're watching. Or you don't know. Active parenting. Right? So inshallah we'll talk about this. This is a huge topic, we'll cover that. So what I'm saying is this, you need to be active, you need to be careful in these things. If the environment in the house is a healthy, emotional, lovely environment, it's going to decrease the issue that we'll have outside. Any other questions?